Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Two Pop Two Handle. I am your host, Andrew Nugatola, your pop culture best friend. And as always, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. I only took 1 week off of the podcast, but I feel like I have not talked to you guys in decades, really. Like, it feels like it has been so long since I sat down and recorded, and I had full intention to record last week, but I just I was getting ready to set up. I was like writing my outline, and I just fully hit a wall where I was like, I actually think if I record this week, I will have a mental breakdown. I was like, I need a breather. I feel like I've had a lot of fun projects going on at work, at my full-time job, and like doing some cool events and doing things that I was like prepping for there, that I just had like so much going on, and daylight savings and the world just like impending doom, and my allergies were acting up. And it was just like a whole lot going on where I was just like, I am my own boss on this podcast. Like, I have unlimited PTO. I can do whatever I want in this made up job that I don't get paid for, where I just yap into a microphone in my living room every week. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my PTO. This is your reminder. Take a personal day. Take your time off. You deserve it. We need some time off sometimes. So my apologies that I was absent from your ears or from your video screens last week. Your boy just needed it. But so much has happened since we last spoke. First things first, I turned 31. My birthday was yesterday. Thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I got, honestly, one of the greatest gifts I could have asked for on my birthday yesterday. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which might seem small to some people, but to somebody who truly does all of this by himself and has been slowly growing the channel and the podcast and just like really trying to, just like really starting grassroots and doing it fully by myself, 1,000 people on YouTube is such a big milestone. And like, I am so proud of that number. And I am so appreciative to everybody who listens, who watches. Like, just the fact that people listen to me every single week literally will never get old. And whenever I hit milestones like this, no matter how big, how small, like, it really does mean the world to me. And the fact that we hit it on my birthday was just so exciting. So thank you to everybody who is watching on YouTube, and of course to my audio listeners as well. But they are the ones who hit the milestone this week. So, I got to give credit where credit is due, but very exciting and just like a very cool way to to enter this new year of my life. We've also gone to space again since we last spoke, which is pretty cool. Well, not we, like you and I didn't go, but Artemis 2 and all of the astronauts and whoever was on the trip to space this week, they had a fun little trip. Are they still in space? Actually, I don't know. Like, have they returned? Have they landed safely? I never thought to check and follow up on that, but hopefully they're having fun if they're still up there, or hopefully they had a good time. I don't know. I also saw Zara Larsson at the Brooklyn Paramount since we last spoke. I just feel like we live in a world right now where like the news is so chaotic. Like, literally, it's 7:58 p.m. right now. I'm recording on Tuesday, April 7th. And like, Donald Trump was like planning to completely wipe out Iran today, like at 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. And like, I was just like, I'm going to be recording the podcast, and like, we're going to have a historical event happening as I'm talking about Zara Larsson in my living room. I'm like, this is unfortunately 2026 in a nutshell, but you know what? I didn't vote for him. I hope the people listening didn't vote for him either. And nevertheless, we persist, we just keep going. But yes, I saw Zara Larsson at the Brooklyn Paramount, which was a lot of fun, as expected. I mean, the show was just fantastic. And I saw her open for Tate McRae. That had to be September? Yeah, like September, August at the Garden. So now seeing her do her own headline show, it was just so fabulous. The crowd was so into it. The crowd was so loud. There was one point, because she did Midnight Sun twice, which I think, let's wake that up. Like, I think artists should start performing their best song or like their most popular song twice, because it just, something about hearing Midnight Sun at the beginning of her set and then again at the end, it hit so differently the second time, because we all were just so in it, because we already heard it and we were just like, let's go crazy. I saw a video of the crowd, somebody who was like in the VIP section, and there really was like barely any phones out whenever she was performing it. And I was like, this is what we need in the world. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm like 31 now. I turned 31 yesterday. Now I have all of these new thoughts on the world, but I'm like, we should lock up our phones at concerts more. Like, they should not let us record, because it is so much more fun. We're just like enjoying the moment. But that's a whole nother tangent to go on to. But Zara was fantastic. I actually got to chat with her opener, Amelia Moore, beforehand. So if you see any videos of Amelia Moore being interviewed on the MTV social channels, that is me who was feeding her the questions. It's so funny when I do anything like that for work, because my voice and my face and like nothing is in it of me. I'm just like on the other side of the camera, but my friends and like you guys know it's me because I posted on my story and like I promote it as like, oh, look, I did this interview for MTV or whatever. But it's so funny when like I posted like my Demi Lovato one and all my friends in the comments were like, yes, Andrew, like, oh my God, that hand model is gorgeous. It was like, such like a funny, it's just so funny. Like nobody else would know that it's me doing the interviews, but my friends, you guys listening, like you guys know it is. And it's so funny when people comment on it. They're like, oh my God, hey, Andrew on it. I don't know, it cracks me up. But I got to chat with Amelia and she was so sweet. We had such a good little convo. So if you see any of that on MTV, go give it a like, give it a comment, you know, share it with a friend, whatever it may be. And also go check out Amelia more. Her music is fantastic. That show was incredible. Zara Larsson is such a star. Like this era for her is just unbelievable. I've also been watching so much. I saw the drama on Friday night on opening night, which we'll chat about in just a little bit. I am hooked on Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We have Hacks coming back this week. We have Euphoria coming back this week. There is so much happening this month. Mother Mary comes out next week. Like it is truly, April is here and it is in full swing. And I am so excited to be chatting with you guys about everything that is happening this month. And with all of that being said, let's get into the show because as you can imagine, after a week off the mic, I have a lot to chat about and we're going to kick the show off as we always do with our Drew releases. Now this week is going to be a little different because I didn't record last week, which is ironic because last week's episode would have had so many music releases on it because there was so much music that came out 2 Fridays ago. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but there were 3 really big album releases that I was so excited for that came out that Friday. Kicking it off incredibly strong with the new Slater album, Worst Girl in America. I've been talking about this album since she started releasing the singles for it, and like every single somehow just got better and better, and this album lived up to every expectation. I am obsessed with this album. It is 100% going to be in my top 10 for the year. Like I know it's going to be something that is on repeat nonstop, and I am truly obsessed with this album. It met every single expectation that I had for it. Next up, we also had a release from Robin, Sex Essential, which was another one of my most anticipated album releases of the year. I will say I haven't listened to it as much as I expected to. Like I don't see myself going back to it. Honestly, all I've been listening to is that Hot and Freddie album. Like I talked about it on the episode with Molly, which was so much fun having her on the show. I loved having somebody to yap with me and not just talk to the mic by myself. So I definitely want to have more guests come on in the future, but that's neither here nor there. I've honestly been listening to that Hot and Freddie album as if it is my job. Like they might as well be paying me to listen to it because I am so obsessed with it. But this Robin album, I haven't listened to it as much as I expected, but I do really like it. I like that it stays pretty upbeat the entire time. It doesn't really fluctuate and go into like a ballad or anything. It kind of stays in that Robin electro pop kind of vibe, you know, that she delivers. And it feels very genuine and true to her. Really, really into it. It's also very short. I think it's like 38 minutes long. So it's honestly like a perfect length album for me. Like it's easy to listen to. It's bite size, it's pocket size, really into it. But I need to spend more time with it to like really fall in love with it. But I am liking what I'm hearing as a whole project, which I expected because I loved all of the singles. I mean, Dopamine came out and literally the end of last year, it came out, I think in like November, and it hit my top 10 favorite songs of the year. I still play that song as if it is my job. I love it so much. So definitely need to listen to the Robin album a little bit more, but what I heard, I loved. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, when it comes to album lengths, we also had Ray with her album, This Music May Contain Hope. This album, not only is it so incredibly long, it's so incredibly theatric, which I was not expecting. Like that opening track where she's narrating what's happening and kind of setting the scene for the album. I was like, whoa, this is theater. Like it is truly a theatrical performance wrapped into an album. And honestly, I'm into it. I really, really like it. It's just really long, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, I have a hard time listening to it as a whole and like knowing exactly what, like where the peaks are, where it falls. And it's kind of a polarizing album online also. Like people either are loving it or hating it. I think it's a fantastic album. I think the production is great. I think the vocals are great. I think it's really uniquely Ray and I'm really into it. And I mean, her vocals are just so next level. Like she is such a vocalist and just, she's so talented. There's so much talent in that little body of hers. And to make an album this impressive and theatrical and dramatic is not an easy thing to do. So really into it. But again, just haven't gotten around to listen to it. Again, I've really just been listening to Hot and Freddie and Slater nonstop. Like I cannot take them off repeat. It's giving Jade that Showbiz Baby last year. Like I think I have a top 3 contender and it is Hot and Freddie's album this year because I can't get enough. Like I don't know what did they put into that album, but I'm fucking obsessed with it. But I'm also loving all three of these releases. So I do need to give a fair shot. So loving these releases. Nothing on my radar for this week coming up, but that is fine. Cause like I said, I have so much music that I've been listening to or need to catch up on. I am okay to, have a week without some music. And that wraps up our Drew releases for this week's episode. We'll get back on track with like upcoming releases and things like that. But of course, I always like to take the time to remind you guys that if at any point during this episode you are loving what you are hearing, do not be shy. Go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating, leave me a review. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit a thumbs up, whatever it may be. It really is the best way to help support the podcast. And it would truly mean the world to me. But of course, to find out if you're loving what you were hearing, I need to give you a show to listen to first. So let's get into our moments from the week that were just too pop to handle. Kicking it off with some Devil Wears Prada 2 updates. There's been a lot going on. We're less than a month away from the movie. So we are in the thick of it. And I think the most exciting news for me as of right now is the fact that it is confirmed that Lady Gaga and Doechii are set to release an original song called Runway for this movie, which, I mean, sign me the fuck up. Like Lady Gaga and Doechii being on a track together is the definition of too pop to handle. I'm obsessed with it already and it's not even out yet. So they released a final trailer for the movie yesterday on my birthday. What a nice little birthday treat. I was really spoiled this year with the presents. And I honestly wasn't going to watch the final trailer because I feel like we are in an era of movies and TV and just culture where like we are spoiling everything in the trailers, whether it's a preview for a TV show. Like the fact that you can watch the first like 12 minutes of Drag Race a week before it even comes out on YouTube. I'm like, why? Like, can't we just wait for anything? Like our attention spans are so short that I kind of hate trailers and previews. So I honestly wasn't going to watch this final trailer. And then I read the caption and heard that they have the Lady Gaga and Doechii track in the trailer. And I was like, well, spoil the movie for me. I need to hear this song. So you can hear it sprinkled throughout the entire trailer. And it feels very gay, very like Vogue runway, very just like what you would want a Lady Gaga and Doechii track to sound like. And what's really exciting for me about this is that there was no original music made for the first movie. There was an original score for it, obviously, like most movies have, but the actual movie soundtrack was all just like repurposed songs, which I feel like isn't the most uncommon thing. That is a very normal route for movies to go because it is very expensive to record original music for a song. However, when you do record an original song, it just adds that extra layer of like personalization, and it's just like a special little touch that, of course you can find the perfect song to go into a movie, and some movies don't need original music, but I do think a sequel as anticipated as this movie, I think getting some original songs is exactly what they need to really just give it that edge and make it stand apart from the original movie. I personally love the first soundtrack for this movie. I have it on vinyl. Like I'm a big movie soundtrack person. I love seeing how people can, weave a song into a movie and just like bring it to life in a different dimension. But I love the first soundtrack. I'm so excited for the second one. There's a rumor floating around online that Gaga's gonna have 5 songs on this album. One with Doechii, one with Madonna, one with Chapel Roan, and I'm forgetting the fourth. And then there's supposed to be like a solo one. Again, this is a rumor, but I mean, please, like, give me 5 Gaga songs for the Devil Wears Prada 2. Sign me up, please. Like, whatever you need me to do, I'm down for it. Like, could you imagine a Gaga Chapel track, a Gaga Madonna track in this movie? Like, it would be unbelievable. And I think it would just be a really cool way to incorporate Gaga into it. She is in the movie, so they say, and people are like freeze framing the trailer and like spotting a centimeter of her in the back of a trailer. It does look like her, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty confirmed that she's in it. Maybe I'm like not remembering exactly what the press release said, but it's pretty safe to assume she's in the movie in some capacity. So if she does end up releasing all of these songs for the soundtrack, I'll consider me dead. Like I will be gagging. But we'll have to wait and see. But I just think Gaga and Doechii, even if it is just the one track, such a perfect duo to do a song for this movie. I mean, the two of them use fashion so prominently in their art, whether it's in a music video, whether it's on stage, whether it's on a magazine cover, an album cover. Like, they're so fashion forward that getting the two of them together on a track, it just makes so much sense. And I'm so excited to see what this sounds like. It also is very reminiscent to me of Gaga doing fashion for Confessions of a Shopaholic in 2009. So, this isn't Gaga's first rodeo, obviously, with original music for a movie. We've gotten plenty of Gaga songs for movies, but I just think this is such a fun way for her to get involved in this. And even if she doesn't have any speaking roles in it, just knowing that like Gaga and Doechii are going to be involved in this project makes me so excited for this. And like, I really, every day, I'm like, I could not be more excited for The Devil Wears Prada 2. And then they just give us something more. Today, it was announced that the cover stars for Vogue's May issue are no other than Meryl Streep and Anna Wintour. Try not to say mother. I'm obsessed with this. This is brilliant on so many different levels. I mean, not only is this Anna's first time ever appearing on the cover of Vogue, which feels insane considering how long she's been with the company, but I guess it does make sense because like, why would the editor-in-chief be on the cover of Vogue unless you're Oprah, because she's on the cover of O magazine all the time? But like, Oprah and Anna Wintour are two very different people, The magazine isn't called Wintour the way that Oprah Daily is called Oprah Daily, So that's a whole different rodeo. But the fact that this is Anna's first time on the cover and is with Meryl Streep cosplaying as Miranda Priestly, basically, like, this is unbelievable. And the layers to why it is incredible, they just keep going. This is rich. This is decadent. So not only are the two of them on the cover looking stunning, the photos are shot by Annie Leibovitz and the interview is done by Greta Gerwig, which is just, it is, again, the definition of too pop to handle. Like, the layers to this are incredible. The photos are everything. They have photos in the back of the car. They have photos in the elevator. Like, they really just went for the runway Miranda Priestly vibe for this entire photo shoot. And I am obsessed with it. And if you know Anna Wintour's history with The Devil Wears Prada, she avoided questions about this movie for decades. Like, she went to the premiere in 2006 and she wore head to toe Prada. And, she showed up just to support a movie that was about fashion, but for decades, she avoided talking about this movie. And it wasn't until really last September when she stepped down as editor-in-chief, when she did the, what's that Vogue podcast called? The Run Through, I believe it's called. She was on the Run Through podcast, and that was how she kind of announced that she was switching positions at Vogue. And I forget exactly what she said, but she said something along the lines of like, the movie was very entertaining and it did a good job, I guess, at like explaining the fashion industry, but she didn't go into much detail about it or anything. She did also attend the premiere of the musical on the West End. So it's clear that she's obviously come to terms with the movie. And I don't think she's offended by it. I mean, obviously she's not offended by it. She's doing a photo shoot with Meryl Streep to promote the second movie, but just seeing her embrace it in this new era is very exciting. And I think Anna's kind of turned a new leaf in the last year or so. She seems a little less buttoned up and a little more just kind of like go with the flow. I mean, obviously I don't know her personally, but with her switching positions and kind of, just it's like a new era for Vogue, similar to a new era for Runway and The Devil Wears Prada 2, where it just feels like she's kind of embracing just a different chapter of her life. So seeing her do this interview, it's just so exciting. Also, throughout the interview, you can just tell that there was such like a love and appreciation for each other throughout it. Like, you could tell that how honored Anna Wintour is to be played or portrayed at least by Meryl Streep. You can tell that Meryl really does want to protect this like persona that she's created. And Anna even says in the interview, like, it's not necessarily based on me, but like, even though it is in history known to be based on me, it's an honor. And you can tell that Meryl like wouldn't go behind Anna's back and try to hurt her. It was never a malicious thing, her playing Miranda Priestly, trying to tear Anna Wintour down or anything. But you do have to think, like, there's that whole thing that Meryl said recently about how in 2006, it was hard for them to get outfits because no designer wanted to work with the movie in fear of Anna Wintour never working with them again, which I don't think would have happened. But I guess you never know with the fashion industry. It's very cutthroat. So just seeing the two of them together and doing this interview was really, really sweet and such like a huge moment for pop culture. Like, this is truly what Too Pop to Handle is all about. Having Anna Wintour and Meryl Streep on the cover of Vogue is just unbelievable. I 1000% need to get a physical copy of this because this is something that I want to like have forever. This is like a true piece of pop culture history. And with all of what Devil Wears Prada is doing right now, I feel like, all of their press has been incredible. They're releasing physical copies of Runway sometime next week. All of the press tour looks have been great. Like, it's just such an exciting era. But I can also admit when things aren't great. And I've got to say, the merch for this movie, I'm a little confused. And I'm not talking about like the popcorn bucket. Like, the popcorn bucket is really silly, really fun. I'm into that. Why are we doing a Devil Wears Prada themed line at Old Navy and Target? Like, it just seems so lowbrow for a movie so entwined into fashion, and like, I understand that like Old Navy and Target are much more accessible places for people to shop other than like doing it as a designer. But like, do we need Devil Wears Prada merch? Like, are we running to the stores to get a shirt that says "That's All," or like to get a cerulean sweater with an embroidered red heel on it? Like, I don't know if Devil Wears Prada is a movie that needs apparel. I think there's a lot of other routes they could have taken to do merch, and it just kind of like cheapens the brand. Obviously, I'm thrilled for the movie, and like, I'll probably end up seeing it in theaters more than once, and like, cannot wait. But I definitely am like, the press tour is so good, and like the interviews, the editorial stuff they're doing, the things that feel like Miranda Priestley and Andy would be working on in the movie are hitting the target so perfectly dead center. And then we look at like the other side of it where we're getting this merch, and I'm just like, do I need a sweatshirt that has like the cerulean monologue on it? Like, it just like, it's really crazy the way like they're hitting it so perfectly on the head with these looks, these interviews, these photo shoots, even having Anna Wintour come out with Anne Hathaway at the Oscars. And like, there really is so many truly perfect things happening for the Devil Wears Prada 2. But then I see like this Target and Old Navy line, and I'm like, did we need all of this? Like, was this necessary, or are we just trying to make a quick buck? But nonetheless, I cannot wait for this fucking movie. It's going to be so good, and I cannot wait. I will keep you guys updated on everything going on. We have the press tour happening. There's so much going on, and I cannot wait to keep seeing what comes out, as long as it's not ugly fucking merch at Old Navy again. But with that being said, let's keep things positive and keep this ball rolling. And on the topic of movies, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I did go see the drama on Friday night, opening night. I did not want to wait any minute longer and get anything potentially spoiled for me, because I wanted to go into this completely blind. And I am so glad that I went into this movie completely blind. So if you're unfamiliar, the drama is a new A24 movie starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, and it follows them as a couple leading up to the week of their wedding. But at the beginning of the movie, they reveal to each other what the worst thing they ever did in their life was. And what Zendaya says is what really is like breaking the camel's back. Like, it is this big bomb that she drops, but you don't know what that's going to be until you get to the movies. And if you can avoid all spoilers for this, I know it was spoiled kind of early. TMZ leaked it like the assholes that they are. Also, TMZ, please stop DMing me and asking me to come onto your show. I don't want to. They have DM'd me so many times on TikTok. They're commenting on all of my TikToks, asking me to go. And like, I don't want to give them the satisfaction of like responding. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a pride thing. I mean, if I do respond, they'll probably just stop. But I'm like, TMZ, please leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. But they did spoil the whole plot of this movie. And I do think there's two sides of this, where like you could go into it blind and be completely shocked and just like, whoa, what the fuck? Or some people would appreciate a trigger warning because it is a very sensitive subject. Now, to give my full thoughts on the movie, which I'm going to do, I do need to spoil what that plot twist is. However, if you are thinking about going to see it, you haven't seen it yet, and you want somebody's opinion on it, my like spoiler-free review before I send you off and tell you to skip to the next timestamp, my spoiler-free review is Zendaya and Rob are fantastic in this movie. Their acting is great. Their chemistry is great. They cast them perfectly for this weird, crazy, quirky couple from Boston. They nailed it with the casting with the two of them. The two of them are so talented, and I really think they were fantastic in this movie. It's a very unique storyline, which is what we need these days. You know, of course, I just talked about Devil Wears Prada 2, and you guys know I was like the number one Freakier Friday fan last year. I love a sequel. I love a remake, but there is something to be said about a unique storyline where, like I said for Oscars, I loved Sinners because it was such a unique storyline. This feels like a very unique storyline. Not as like Sinners had like a fantasy element to it. This doesn't have a fantasy. This is a very realistic, almost too real, honestly, in today's political climate. There's not like a fantasy aspect, but there is a very unique storyline that does kind of leave you feeling a little uneasy. Like, go into it blind if you can, but be prepared to be a little uncomfortable while you're watching. And the final thing I'll say in my spoiler-free review before I get into the nitty-gritty of it is very beautifully shot. Like, it is an A24 movie at the end of the day. They're going to make it cinematic. They're going to make it stunning and beautiful. And like, they like got the perfect apartment for them, the perfect wedding venue. Like, they really found the perfect spots to film this movie in. And like, I think setting it in Boston for some reason felt so correct. And just, it was a very beautifully done movie, perfectly cast. I really did. This is where I struggle because I don't want to say that I loved it only because of how uneasy I felt while watching it, which I can't tell you why I felt uneasy without spoiling it, but I liked it a lot. I think I would give it 4 stars if I had a letterbox, or like in my monthly memo on Substack. That's what I'm giving it next month. Spoiler alert. I will give it 4 stars, not quite 5, but I did really, really like it a lot. That being said, from this point forward, I'm going to spoil the movie. So look down in the description, click the next timestamp if you want no spoilers. Otherwise, you've been warned. And here we go into my review of the drama. Full spoilers, everything on the table. I will give you one last chance. I'm going to take a sip of water. And by the time I swallow, if you're not gone, that is on you. All right, so let's get into this. I mean, it's just such a jarring and upsetting topic to be the focal point of a movie, which is the point of the A24 movie. The fact that like we're watching this and Zendaya fully admits that like her character was planning to do a school shooting and to completely just take a rifle out on her school and just shoot it up is so insanely unsettling to watch. But we're so desensitized to gun violence in America that like, is it that shocking? You know, like, is it really that insane to hear about when every day you turn on the news and you're seeing somebody else that opened fire in a mall or at a school or wherever it is? Like, this is a very desensitized subject in the United States and something that nobody takes seriously in our government, which is such a frustrating thing. And that's kind of the point of this movie, I think, is to remind us how normalized gun violence has become in our country and the way our government just completely refuses to do anything about it. What I thought was the most truly unsettling part of the entire movie were the flashback scenes when they were showing Zendaya as a high schooler, like in her bedroom, holding the gun and like recording the video of like, if you're watching this, I've already done the crime, and her like practicing shooting, and like those scenes and watching her plan this attack were the most unsettling parts for me. And then just like being in the theater and like being in a packed movie and like, I don't know, something about like seeing the glamorization of guns and gun violence in a packed movie theater, it freaked me out. Like, I felt so uneasy, which is what I mean when I say I don't know if I can say that I loved it, only because I was sitting there kind of on the edge of my seat, like fully like anxious, because I was thinking like, what if this is like unfortunately the perfect movie for something to happen? I don't want to like say it because obviously that's like insane, but like I unfortunately went for the worst, which I don't often do. I usually try to find a silver lining on things, but like I am constantly kind of thinking about like, what if something did happen and like, what if somebody did pull out a weapon right now? How would I escape? What would I do? I know it's something I should talk about in therapy, but you know what? It is what it is. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh fuck, like this is going to be an experience for me. However, I was able to really, really enjoy the movie. And I do think if I watch it a second time, maybe at home, not in another packed theater. As much as I love a movie theater experience with a packed theater and reacting to a movie, like we all gasped when we found out what it was. We were all like giggling together. There was like a nervous giggle throughout the theater when certain things happened. Like this scene with the photographer, we were all giggling at because it was just like, we know something you don't know, and it's like there's a reason they're so uncomfortable, and like they depicted anxiety and like this uncomfortable feeling with each other so perfectly that you almost like don't want to laugh. Like I feel guilty saying I liked it as much as I did because of how sensitive the subjects are, but like that's the point of the movie, you know, like that's what they're trying to do. As far as like the characters, Emma, Zendaya's character, she was the only one with any remorse for what she quote unquote did. And when you boil it down, she didn't even do the worst thing that she said that she did. Like everybody else went around the table and shared the worst thing that they ever did. They took action and did it. And she just said that she thought about doing the mass shooting, which like obviously is fucking insane and not something that should be normalized and like glamorized. And I don't think they were glamorizing it in this movie at all because of the reaction that everybody had. I mean, Rachel, Alana Haim's character, who we'll get into her in a minute. She was the villain of the entire fucking movie. But like her character fully cut her off for most of the movie and then like ruined her wedding basically with that speech. Robert Pattinson's character, Charlie, was like having such a hard time swallowing that pill and like not knowing what to do. And it just was like, they clearly weren't glamorizing it and like saying it is the right thing to do or to like forgive people like that. But like when you do look at the other three characters saying what they did, they all did it. Whereas Emma did not do it. And she put the work in to kind of retrain her brain and like to figure out why she was like this. And like she put in work to stop thinking like that, whether she wanted to or not. Like it did happen and she did kind of overcome it. And you can tell like when she said it to them, she did not think they were going to react the way that they did because she never actually did the crime, which yes, she did bring it to school. And yes, like she was ready to do it. But like, again, they fuck with your brain. And it's such a mind fuck movie that like you almost side with Emma because you're like, well, she didn't do it. Like she did come to her senses and like, maybe it was only because another mass shooting happened, but like she didn't do it, you know, with like, there's a mind fuck that goes back and forth with it. And then, like I said, Rachel, Alana Haim's character, she's the fucking villain. She is the most problematic character in the entire movie. And we have somebody who wanted to do a mass shooting, but like she is truly the worst character in this movie. But she was so perfectly written that like they were able to write somebody that you hate so much perfectly. And she hated Emma from the beginning. Like even before Emma brought up the whole thing with the guns and like, yes, she had the personal tie to it. I obviously understand that there's trauma there, but like she hated Emma from the jump because even in that first scene where we meet her, she's telling her, you look ugly when you cry, don't cry at your wedding, which like, that's not what you tell your best friend or the person that you're going to be the maid of honor. And I understand that the only reason she is Emma's maid of honor is because I believe Michael is her husband's name, is Charlie's best friend. So they become friends there. And like in her speech, Rachel literally says like, I was wondering why she didn't have any friends of her own. And like, she kind of leans into the fact that like, clearly Emma didn't have the easiest childhood and she kind of did grow up as the weird kid. But for her to say that to somebody about their own wedding, like, oh, don't cry on your wedding day because you're ugly when you cry. She hated her from day one and was looking for any reason to not be a part of this wedding. You cannot convince me otherwise. Like that is not a good friend in any sense of the word. And I can understand why she didn't want to be friends with her after the whole, you know, thing with like admitting of her wanting to do a mass shooting because of her cousin who is now in a wheelchair because of it. That I understand. However, Rachel was a shitty friend from the jump. And like, there's another fish to fry in their story and their friendship. Also, she locked a special needs child in a closet in an RV in the woods. And we're going to sit there and be mad at Zendaya for what she didn't do and just thought about? Are we? Hello? Like you literally, if anybody listening to this hasn't seen it and it's just allowing me to spoil it, A, thank you so much. But B, basically when they go around the table and share the worst thing they ever did, Rachel shares that the worst thing she ever did is she locked her neighbor, who she says was a little slow, in the closet of an abandoned RV in the middle of the woods when they were kids. And now my biggest thing with this, I mean, obviously besides the obvious of like locking a live human being in a closet and leaving them there overnight, what if the owner of the RV came back and was like a pedophile or something or a murderer or like they literally said there was like beer and porn all over the RV and she locks this kid in the closet and runs away and doesn't tell anybody? And you're mad because somebody had an intrusive thought when she was 15 years old? Like, again, everybody in this movie is a little crazy. Like that's kind of that's the point of it. Everybody's a little nuts. Like my friend group is small, but we're all fucking crazy kind of vibes. You did the worst thing I think out of everybody. Because even like your husband using his ex-girlfriend as a human shield against a dog, I probably would have done the same thing. Robert Pattinson saying he cyberbullied somebody, like, yeah, that's not great, but like, you locked a human being who with special needs in the closet of an abandoned RV in the woods. You are the villain of this movie, and you are somehow taking this and completely flipping it onto Emma, who is the only character in the movie who has any remorse for what she didn't even do, for these thoughts that she had, that she ended up completely putting her thing down, flipping it and reverse it, and became like a gun activist. Like, I just think the way that they were making her the villain of this movie was so insane. And like, they needed to, Rachel is the villain of this movie. You will not convince me otherwise. I think all in all, this movie is a really, just a reminder of like, everybody's moral compass is so different and everybody has a different level of tolerance for what they will allow into their life. Because when you really look at like the things in this movie that were deal breakers for people, like Emma and Charlie couldn't handle having a DJ that they saw doing drugs, but Charlie could marry somebody who was planning to do a mass shooting, and Emma could marry somebody who cheated on her a week before the wedding. Like, their moral compasses are completely fucked up, but they also would tolerate a lot within each other. So there's this whole message of like, you will tolerate different things for somebody that you love, and like, you'll put up with certain things for certain people, but like, they weren't willing to let their DJ smoke a little heroin on the street, which again, you know, not the best situation, but like, most DJs do drugs. Let's just be honest. Like, that's not a crazy thing for your DJ to be doing drugs. I didn't think it was like the craziest thing, and I don't think it needed to result in her getting fired. I think they overreacted there. And I'm like, obviously throughout the movie we're watching Robert Pattinson like have a mental breakdown over whether or not he should marry Emma, so it was weighing on his conscience, but like at the end of the day he showed up and he did say I do, and they kissed and they had the wedding, and like obviously there was a whole blow up with Misha, his assistant, and like all of that, whatever, but like at the end of the day, his soon-to-be wife thinking about being a mass shooter wasn't a deal breaker, but the DJ doing drugs was. So it's like, where do you draw the line? I think that's like the whole moral kind of storyline throughout this entire movie. I also really appreciate that the movie had a true full rounded ending. You know, it didn't leave us hanging the way that most A24 movies do. Like when I saw Pillion a couple weeks ago, it ends and like we don't know what happened with, I forget his name, but with the biker guy. Like he just runs away and like we never know what happened to his life. We never know what happened to the other guy, like the boyfriend of him. Like we don't know what happens in their lives after, but at the end of this movie, we can assume that they are still together. They're still married because they literally got married 20 minutes before this all happened, but like they go to the diner, they see each other. They obviously have this ritual of like when they fight, they do this like starting over thing, and they're like, hey, do you come here often? They do that. Like there is still a love and a bond between the two of them where like they will tolerate each other's crazy, and we have a full rounded ending, which is rare for an A24 movie. We don't get that in a lot of their movies. So I do appreciate that, because after the emotional roller coaster that they put us on in that movie, I was like, this is the least that you can fucking do. Truly, like this is the least you can do is put a bow on the end of this movie and not piss me off. But I did really, 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 really like this movie. Again, the only reason I won't say I love it is because of the uneasy feeling that I was supposed to feel while watching this. You know, if I'm watching a movie about gun violence, I'm going to feel a little uneasy and a little like, ooh, you know, like kind of clutch my pearls. But all in all, it was a great movie. I thought it was really fantastic. It already made back its budget, I think, in like 2 days. And it's now A24's like third highest box office opening ever, which is crazy. So clearly people are seeing it. People are going to the theaters, which this is a movie that I think everybody should see in the movie theaters, because it is such a reaction experience with everybody. And like, even the things that I shared, like there's so much more that happens in the movie that like you could go see it after hearing what I said, and there are still things that I think you would still like find those like shock factors to, and just like watching some of the scenes and the way that they react to each other will still be a little bit of like an uneasy or shocking feeling. So I do think, even if you listen to the spoilers, again, thank you for letting me spoil it, but I do think you should still go see it and see it in a theater, because it really was a unique theater experience. It was great. Now that I've just yapped about that for like 25 minutes, let's move into some other pop culture stuff going on this week. Sabrina Carpenter is on the cover of Perfect magazine, and these photos are unreal. She went so off the beaten path with these photos and completely embraced completely new looks. She has like short brown curly hair in one. She's like this runaway bride kind of vibe in one. Like it is a very unique kind of photo shoot for Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm really into it. What I thought was really interesting about this interview is she's talking about her Coachella set, which is this Friday. She is headlining Coachella, which she told us back in 2024, that next time she'll be at Coachella, she will be headlining. And now we are coming up on Sabrina's headlining set this weekend. But she shared that it is the most ambitious show she's ever done. She says it's probably the most time I've ever had to actually just sit down and talk about a show as I'm building it. Most of the time you're really quickly thrust into physical rehearsals, but this time around we started this process around 7 months ago. So it's been a long journey. It will be very special. So I'm already sat for Sabrina's set. Like I was already excited for this. Now I'm even more excited because I feel like she is fully entering this new visual era. Because I will admit, like, the short and sweet tour was great, but like it was kind of getting run into the ground. Like if I had to look at that fucking set one more time, it was going to drive me crazy because she got her money's worth and then some out of that set because she ran it into the ground. But when you release 2 albums within a year of each other and you're on tour while the other one comes out and you need to continue going on tour with it, you're not going to build a whole new set, you know, like that's very expensive. So I get why she did it. So I am so excited to see her introduce a new stage show and kind of go into this next era, whether it is the man's best friend era and fully embracing that, or if she's going to start teasing something else. I don't know, but I'm very excited. I honestly part of me thinks she's going to go very like Studio 54. If we think like her VMAs after party, there was like it was all like Studio 54 vibes. And like, she's very like leaning in. There's like an 80s aesthetic to Man's Best Friend, even like with the house tour video, which we'll get into in a second. It's just like I just feel like she's leaning into this aesthetic of like 80s kind of culture. And I'm really excited to see what she does with this stage setup, because even when she did Coachella last time, that was such a huge production. I mean, she had the trailer and like it was the whole thing, and it was such a moment that I'm so excited to see what she does going into this Coachella performance. It's going to be fantastic. She also shared that when I'm on stage, there's a button. She said, I think it has been this way ever since I was young. I started touring when I was 16 years old, and I've always felt there's a button that turns on when you're performing. And when you think about Sabrina Carpenter and the way that she is truly born to be a pop star, this makes so much sense. Because even if you look at like a Beyonce versus Sasha Fierce, you know, they always say like, you turn on this persona when you're on stage. I feel like even Gaga has it, where like Gaga is this like sweet kind of soft-spoken woman in some of her interviews and is so whatever, but then she gets on stage and she's like, put your fucking balls up, you know, like she goes crazy on stage. It's so cool to watch these pop stars really have this like persona on stage, you know, and Sabrina truly was born to be a pop star. So I'm so excited for this set. Like I think it's going to be one for the books. I cannot wait. She also gave some really good statements on the queer community and how she thinks like pop music wouldn't be what pop music is and pop cultures in general without the queer community, which I cannot agree more with. She also talked some shit about everybody who uses AI, which, you know, I will always applaud, but she had a really good point just about how like she really appreciates that there is a community of people who hates AI and like continues to publicly shame anyone who uses it. And like, I am that person. Like I love commenting on somebody's AI video on Instagram or TikTok and saying like, this is embarrassing. Thank you for wasting my water for this. Like I love public shaming people for using AI. I think we should do it more often. And I'm glad Sabrina agrees. Then finally in this interview, she also talked about her visuals and how she feels like once she signed with Island when she was 21, that she really started to get it. And she understood like the power of a visual element on stage or a music video, or, you know, just like tying in that visual element to really bring the album to life. And when you look at Sabrina's music career pre 5 years ago and post 5 years ago, like in this now era, it is such a 180. And like, I wasn't a Sabrina Carpenter fan before she released Emails I Can't Send. I felt like I was a little too old to be listening to her because I wasn't watching Disney Channel anymore. I was just like right at that age that I like aged out of it. But when Emails I Can't Send came out, I was like, who is this girl? I was like, it was such a switch in her pop stardom, if you will. And I think she'll even agree with that. Like she jokes that like her first 2 or 3 albums albums aren't her albums. Like she says, I have 3 albums out and they are Emails I Can't Send, Short and Sweet, and Man's Best Friend. Like those are the ones that she claims. And I think it's a clear divide in her discography of like when that kicked in and like when she really realized how to be a full, well-rounded pop star. And it was always in her, of course. She always had it. But then, you know, when she had this freedom with this new record label and things like that, she was really able to just like burst into it. With that being said, the house tour video coming out this week. Now, I will admit I have not fully watched it yet. I've seen clips of it here and there, but I had my birthday and then I had a big day at work today. I did a very fun project, which will be out very soon. So I'll share that with you guys when it comes out. But the clips that I have seen and having Madeline Klein and every, you know, all the people in the video, like it's just so fun that she's leaning into this like Sabrina Carpenter cinematic universe. And I mean, the best part about the Sabrina Carpenter cinematic universe is the fact that the man always dies at the end, which we love because we love to watch straight men suffer. So keep it up, Sabrina. You're doing what you need to do. We love to see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the house tour video was kind of like a nod of what to expect with her Coachella set. So I'm curious. I need to watch the whole video and like fully take it in. Maybe I'll do a reaction video to it this weekend. But regardless, I think it's going to lean into the Coachella set a little bit. So I'm very excited to see, you know, what she has for this Coachella set. Huge weekend. Also, I mean, Justin Bieber Coachella this weekend. I was never a big believer. I never caught Bieber fever, but like this is a huge deal. And like, I'm so happy for the Justin Bieber girls. Like I am thrilled that the Justin Bieber girls are getting this Coachella set because I feel like it's been a long time coming. Very, very curious to see what he does for this set. I feel like there's a lot riding on this. He's been doing these like pop-up shows, these like private little shows. And I was at the Roxy and the Troubadour. So we will have to wait and see. Next week's episode will be a full Coachella recap. We'll chat all about it. I'm not going, but you know, I like to watch online every year. But yes, very excited to see Sabrina Carpenter kick off the weekend with her headlining set on Friday. And moving into our next moment of the week that was to pop to handle, Olivia Rodrigo has finally announced her 3rd studio album. It is titled You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, and it is coming out on June 12th. Now, lots to unpack with this title, mainly considering we've only ever gotten 1-word titles from this girl, and now this one is 10 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is like a very long title compared to Guts and Sour. So I think she's really like kicking her old aesthetic to the curb and fully diving into something new. I love the album cover. I think it is incredible. It's very simple, but there's something so artsy and like almost like charming about it. I don't know. It's something about like the swing and the pink dress and the fact that we're like kicking the purple to the side. Like very exciting to see that Olivia's like really diving into this new era and chapter of her life. I'm very excited to see what this means. She did say to British Vogue that it is an album full of sad love songs. So, you know, she's had her relationship over the last years and so, and, you know, hasn't worked out that well. So I'm curious to see what a sad love song sounds like. I'm thinking very like melodrama, you know, very a song that maybe shouldn't sound sad or a song that shouldn't sound happy, but I don't know. I'm excited to kind of see what she plays with. I mean, we have Dan Nigro coming back and producing it. I mean, he did Sour, Guts, he did Chapel's album. He's worked with Lorde, Renee Rapp, Kylie Minogue. Like Dan is no joke. He has produced everything Olivia's done. So I know that he will not steer her wrong at all. And we'll only have to wait about a week or so to find out what this album sounds like because we get the lead single Drop Dead next Friday, April 17th. So I'm very excited for that. And though I'm very excited for this album, I've got to admit, I kind of hate this rollout. Like it's taking way too long to roll this album out. Even the single, like she announced the album last week. Why are we waiting 2 weeks to get the single? I just feel like it's a really strange marketing tactic. And like, not that I work on Olivia's team, but I've worked in marketing in some retrospect for almost 10 years. And like, to me, it's like, as soon as she started painting that mural, that Friday should have been the announcement. I'd say the mural took like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks to fully get the album announcement. And then to not announce the single or release it the following Friday seemed kind of like a swing and a miss. And now we have to wait until next week to get the single. I'm going to eat it up and I'm going to be excited for it regardless, like, of course, but it just seems like a really weird tactic to roll it out so slowly. I'm all for like a 2-month album rollout, you know, announce it, I guess 3 months. She announced at the end of March and then it's coming out at the beginning of June. So I'm all for like a true proper 3-month rollout, but I feel like it just could be timed better. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's like I'm so used to a certain rollout equation for people that I'm like not used to her doing this so spaced out, but it just seems strange to like take so long to finish this mural and announce the name of the album, and then announce the album, not announce the single for like 4 or 5 days, and then the single's not coming out until not even this Friday, next Friday. It just seems very strange to me. Again, I'm still excited for it. It's going to be great. I cannot wait for it. But like I was saying on my last episode, like I'm trying to be more realistic about like, yeah, okay, I'm loving this about it, but I'm not loving that about it. I.e. loving the promo and the press for the Devil Wears Prada 2, but the merch fucking sucks. You know, we gotta be more realistic about things. And that's what we're aiming for in 2026 on Too Pop to Handle. But yes, very excited for a new Olivia Rodrigo album. I am always tapped in for an Olivia release, so I'm very stoked for this. And then the final moment of the week that was Too Pop to Handle before we dive into our TV recap is this Ciara, Amanda West Summer House drama. Now, full transparency, I do not watch Summer House, but I am a sane enough person to know that hooking up with your best friend's ex is fucking insane. And now, whether or not it's because I've gone through this myself, I have had a best friend hook up with my ex after we broke up, obviously. And like, this person was also a best friend that was, you know, also maybe a hookup buddy. But he ended up sleeping with my ex, and I found out after the fact, and then while we were also hooking up, so just like extra layers to it. So maybe it's because I'm taking it a little personal as well, but like Ciara should show up to her apartment and swing on this bitch. I don't condone violence, but she deserves her ass to be beat. And so does West. Like, this is insane behavior. So again, I don't watch Summer House, so I don't know exactly the timeline. I don't know what happened. My extent of all of this is I know Ciara from The Traitors. I listen to Giggly Squad every week, and I'm up on, you know, Bravo TikTok and Bravo Twitter and Threads enough to know what is going on. So basically, anyone who doesn't know, TLDR, Amanda was married to Kyle, who actually I saw Kyle out a couple weeks ago in like downtown in the city, and he was like out with a bunch of girls, and they were kind of like hanging out at some bar. And then the next day on Dumois, somebody submitted a blind item that night he was out and about with one of the girls from Next Gen NYC. And I was like, oh my God, not me being like boots on the ground. I mean, I didn't submit to Dumois because I just don't do that, but I was like, ooh, that's drama. But Amanda was married to Kyle. They ended up getting a divorce, or they're getting a divorce. I don't know. But Amanda's best friend in Summer House is Ciara, who was in a relationship with West. Now, Ciara and West, from what I know, again, I don't watch, but from what I know and what I've read and what I can gather, had a kind of not the cleanest breakup. It was kind of very traumatic for Ciara. And I think they kind of like were in and out of it for a little bit. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think it wasn't just like a clean break because they were living in a house together throughout the summer. So Ciara was constantly crying to Amanda about it, or maybe not even crying, just like venting to Amanda. Again, I apologize to my Summer House watchers who were like, you're fucking this up, but this is the gist of it. And I know it is at least like 95% correct. Ciara would vent to Amanda and like thank her for being her best friend. They were like ride or die besties for each other. And now Amanda and West are in cahoots. And the craziest part to me is that they're not even in a committed relationship, because West still has girls in other area codes that he's DMing. He apparently has a girlfriend in Chicago. He's got girls all over the country. And like, you just dogged your best friend for a situationship. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, there are so many fish in the sea, and you have to pick the fish that your best friend was fucking and crying to you about for the last year or two. Like, what is wrong with you? I just don't understand that mentality and like how you could do that to somebody that was your best friend. Like, how crazy and selfish do you have to be? And like, I don't want to hear like, what if they're the one? What if they're not even dating? They are not even dating. This is literally a situationship. And then to release that fuck ass joint statement on Instagram stories, and like, it was just so lowbrow. And like, it's not all on Amanda. It's not all on West. The two of them are just as much of dogs as the other one. Like, this is just such a mess. And then to top it all off, today Bravo releases the trailer for the new show In the City, where we are going to see Amanda and Kyle's marriage fall apart. And in the trailer, they show West and Amanda hugging in the trailer. And this had to have been filmed months ago. So how long had this been going on? And how long had the Bravo producers known that this was going to come out? And they've just been sitting on this. And I get it. It's going to be great TV at the reunion and whatever. And like, sure, but like, that's fucked up. And like Ciara should show up to the Bravo headquarters swinging and then roll around to Amanda and West's apartment or apartments, whatever their living situation is. I don't fucking know. She should show up to Bravo swinging. Then she should show up to Amanda and West and swing on them as well, because this is crazy. And like, it's just like, I don't understand where people get the audacity to do this to a best friend. There are so many other people in the world, and you had to do this to somebody that literally you were crying on my shoulder about not 6 to 10 months ago. It is so fucking crazy to me. And like, I ride at dawn for Ciara. I don't even watch the show. I literally know her solely from the traders and through like the internet. I ride for Ciara at dawn. Like, I will show up with a pitchfork to watch what happens live the next time Amanda and West are on, to stand Ciara's ground, because this is crazy. And I am curious what the reunion's gonna be like, and I don't even watch the show, so I'm just gonna tune in anyway. B, I'm curious if Ciara is even going to start filming the show again. Like, Ciara, if I was her, I would not want to be in a house with them for a summer, like filming a TV show. Like, la-da-dee, everything's great and fine. My ex-best friend is fucking my ex, but they're not even actually dating. So you just like threw away our friendship for a literal situationship when he's fucking other bitches in other cities. It is just crazy. It is truly wild. However, I do hope that this leads to some opportunities for Ciara. Like, I hope she gets the Scandival effect with like getting all of the, I mean, look at Ariana Madix. Like, she is hosting Love Island. She is on Broadway. She's getting all these brand deals. And like, she didn't do anything but get cheated on or like get betrayed. And like, I hope Ciara is getting opportunities like that. However, I don't know if she will, to be honest, because like, she's not like a social, I mean, she is a social media person, but like, she's a nurse. Like, she's not trying to be an interviewer or just an influencer. Like, to my knowledge, like, she enjoys what she does as a full-time job, and like, she's actually contributing to the world and doing something right for society by being a nurse. And now she has to deal with this bullshit. Like, it's so crazy to me. And like, I obviously I listen to Giggly Squad every single week, and like the way Hannah and Paige put it, they were like, our group chat is better than all of yours. Don't you worry, we are on it. I was like, I'd be terrified of being on Paige DeSorbo's bad side, truly. Like, I would be so afraid to be on Paige DeSorbo's bad side for even a second, because like, she is the real deal. And this is all with love. Like, I say this with love, but like, crossing Paige DeSorbo is the craziest thing that you can do. And like, one thing about Paige and Hannah, but like, I think Paige and Ciara, I imagine are, well, no, I think they're all just equally as close, but like, I just think like crossing the three of them, like, they're a little crazy in a good way, you know, in a way that we need them to be, to like keep people in check. So I am just like, what is going on in the Giggly Squad X Ciara group chat? It's gotta be fucking nuts. But you know what? You made your bed, now fucking sleep in it. This was crazy news. And again, like, I'm not even a Summer House girl. I'm like a half foot in Bravo girl, but like, I know enough. And I was like, this was crazy. And with all of that being said, we have made it to our second to last segment of the show. It is time for our TV recap, and we are coming down to the final episodes of Drag Race Season 18. Now, obviously, I skipped last week, so I didn't talk about the episode in which Jane Don't was sent home. I'm not going to recap the episode because obviously it's like in the past and whatever, but I just have to say, I would have bet so much money on Jane Don't being in the top 3. And the fact that she got sent home, not even top 4, that is crazy. And like, I love Jane. I think she is truly such a talented queen. She's not even my front runner. Like, I wasn't like Team Jane, you know, I think she deserved to win. You know, I can admit when like my front runner on the season isn't the one who I think's going to win. I saw Jane going for the crown full force. And I think truly everybody else did. So the fact that she got sent home, not even top 4, top 5, that was fucking crazy. But that being said, it is another day in the workroom. We are in the top 4. Jane Don't has left the building. It is the gag of the season. Truly, like, that's the biggest gag of this entire season. That was fucking crazy. But we are in our top 4. So we have Juicy, Mikey, Nene, and Darlene. And this week's Maxi Challenge is Good Morning Bitches. They are hosting a morning show, which honestly is like such a dream, you know? Like, I feel like a morning talk show is just so fun and like Rue was saying, like, when people watch a morning talk show, they want to feel like they're friends with the person. They want to be relatable and they want to be able to like wake up with them and like it's a vulnerable part of the day. So like having these girls do like a morning talk show, I thought it was such a fun way to kind of see how they can sell themselves as like a relatable best friend and like come through the camera that way. And some of them did great and some of them did not. So the girls pair up. We have Juicy and Nene, and then we have Mikey and Darlene. Now, I don't think Juicy and Nene were bad per se. However, when you put them up against what Mikey and Darlene did, it was apples and oranges. Like Darlene and Mikey, it seemed like they were seasoned professionals at hosting a morning talk show. Like they were so incredible with it. And honestly, like, start a podcast. I want the two of them to do a podcast or something because their energy with each other was just so radiant, and like where Darlene was soaring with things, Mikey would soar in other things, and they complemented each other so well. Whereas I felt like with Nene and Juicy, they did complement each other well. And I am cheering for, honestly, I love this top 4. I think it's a really, really strong top 4. But like, where like Rue said, Juicy went so like sexual with it, and Nene like wasn't on that same wavelength, where like it just didn't mesh as well. And like it was entertaining and like it was fine, but when you have Darlene and Mikey come in and stomp all over them the way that they did, like I said, it was kind of apples and oranges. And on the runway this week for our final runway of season 18 is Drag Excellence. Juicy came out in this like gold getup. I loved it. I immediately, with me and Thomas, my boyfriend, we were like, this looks like Morphine's chain look that she did body in when she lip synced against Dawn. And then she literally says like, it's very reminiscent of Morphine's chain look, which makes sense. They are drag family. So loved that. I thought it was a really intricate look. I really like this a lot. Nene's was fabulous. Like this was an incredible look. The way that it was rhinestone, the way that it went into the hair, like this was an incredible look. I loved it. This was truly drag excellence. Mikey wasn't my favorite. I'm just going to say it. It wasn't my favorite. Could have been tweaked a little bit and just like fine tuned, but Mikey is such a strong queen that like, it is what it is. She has done nothing but succeed and soar in this competition, I feel like, and I am loving what she has given us this entire season. I think this wasn't a bad look by all means, but I do think there could have been some fine tuning to it. But again, this was still a really great week for her. And then Darlene, I love Darlene Mitchell so much. You can go back to my recap of episode 1. I said, I don't think I'm going to like this girl. Her drag just doesn't vibe with me. I don't think I'm going to like it. She is now my favorite. Like I am obsessed with Darlene Mitchell, and she has truly, not that she needed to prove herself, but like she has made such a name for herself and truly spread her wings so incredibly. She has had an incredible run on this show, and I am truly obsessed with her. We find out that the winners of this week's challenge are Mikey and Darlene both. Now, they both have another win underneath their belts, and the bottom two are Juicy and Nene, and they are lip syncing to my favorite Chappell Roan song, Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl, which I was thrilled to see as a Drag Race lip sync. I love that song. And Nene ends up taking the win, which I've been saying, if you're lip syncing against Juicy, pack your bags. They're sending you packing. However, I do agree that Nene won this week's lip sync solely because it's fun to do flips. It's fun to do tricks. But Juicy was doing them in an excessive way that like we didn't need all of them. Like we didn't need her to do those backflips and the flips and the tricks and the this and the that. And like, it was fucking incredible. I mean, the way that she can move her body is unbelievable, but it was like, you're not lip syncing the song. You're just doing Cirque du Soleil to like be gaggy on the runway, which I understand. But when it's to the top 4, they do need to consider like who is really performing the song properly. And I do agree with Nene being the winner of this week's lip sync. Granted, my rule with like, if you're lip syncing against Juicy, you know, you're going to go packing. There's an exception because this is the correct top 3. If Jane Doe's not going to be in it, I'm sorry, Juicy's not going to be in the top 3 either. Like we gotta be realistic here. So Juicy unfortunately does end up going home, but we'll have the Lollapalooza next week, and Juicy, I am certain she will win the Lollapalooza. Like I'll be shocked. I was shocked that Jane Doe went home. So like maybe expect the unexpected on this season. But like if Juicy doesn't win the Lollapalooza, I will truly be shocked. But we have to wait and see. But now we have our top 3. The finale is in 2 weeks. We are coming down to the end of it. So our top 3 is Darlene Mitchell, Nene Coco, and Mikey Meeks. Now, I honestly don't know which way this is going to go, solely because I thought Jane Doe was a shoo-in. My favorite is Darlene. Darlene's my favorite for sure. But I thought Jane Doe was taking this flying color. So now I'm a little like, oh shit, like who is going to take the crown? I think from like a full package situation, I think Mikey could take it, but I could also see like they love Darlene, and Darlene has put so much work in that I could see Darlene taking it as well. But that's also not to mention like Nene was my front runner for weeks, and it's not that she's not anymore, but it's kind of like that self-sabotage has come out a little too much, where like Darlene has kind of erased it a little bit. I feel like Darlene started kind of hard on herself, and she's now come into her shell, where Nene, she ebbed and flowed with her self-sabotage, and she kind of has not figured out how to get over it, which is fine. But I don't know if that's like what America's Next Drag Superstar needs. So I could really see it going any way. Like I could see, I think if I had to like put a ranking of who I think is going to be, I think it's going to it'll be Mikey at the top as like the front runner, then Darlene, then Nene. But honestly, like I could see it going anyway, and I really do love the 3 of them a lot. So like I'm fine with whoever wins, honestly. I think it would be incredible to see Darlene take the crown, but like realistically, I don't know if it's gonna happen. We'll have to just wait and see. We have not seen Darlene lip sync yet, so who knows if she can like pull through in the finale. Again, time will tell. We have 2 weeks left. I don't think I'm going to recap the Lollapalooza next week because that's a lot to go through. Like that's a lot to recap. So I'll probably skip next week, which is fine because we have a new show entering the TV recap, you guys. And I could not be more excited to be recapping Real Housewives of Rhode Island with you guys. I am obsessed. We're 2 episodes in, and I'm obsessed. I'm hooked. I am all in. I'm loving this show already. It is so good. And when it was teased, I remember saying like, I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for a new franchise, but I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did. It's just really nice to see all these women being truly connected previously. They're not being forced into friendships like that was the problem with Roni. They were being forced into these friendships. They didn't know each other. These girls go back to elementary school. They knew each other's husbands in like, they were doing like communion together, and like they were all connected in some way or another. And even with like Ashley, who's newer to Rhode Island, she at least knew Rosie because they would go to concerts together or whatever that story was. Like there's a connection with everybody, at least 1, if not 2, 3 lines of connection. And that is what you need on a housewife season. Off the bat, Liz and Alicia are my 2 favorites. They are hysterical. Like they have truly, every time they're on screen, I'm laughing. Even if they don't mean to be funny, they're just funny in their mannerisms and their sayings. Like they crack me up. And that's what I want in a housewife. Make me laugh, be outrageous, be accidentally funny, and I am sold. The whole story with Alicia saying she ran a woman over and she said it so casually, like You can't make this up. Like, this is incredible television. I'm telling you guys, if you're not watching Real Housewives of Rhode Island yet, you need to jump on this bandwagon because it's going to be an incredible season. I think Joellen will become a favorite of mine, but I'm not quite sold just yet. I need a few more episodes with her, but I do think she's going to bring really good storylines. I think the whole thing with her and Rula is going to be really juicy. Like, it's already spicy and we've only seen it for really like an episode and a half. Like, I'm very excited to see what is in store for that. And then I just think Joellen's not going to fuck around. Like, she isn't going to be there and she's not going to be like taking shit from anybody. I think she's really going to give these girls a run for their money when they need it. And I'm very excited to watch her kind of navigate this season. But again, she's not a favorite just yet, but I think she will become one. I'm just going to say, and maybe I'll be wrong like I was with Darlene Mitchell, I don't think I'm going to like Rosie. Something about her is just rubbing me the wrong way. She kind of seems a little annoying, a little pick-me, which is fine. But when you have such big personalities like Liz and Alicia and even like Kelsey and like, I just think I'm going to find myself favoring some of the other girls over Rosie specifically, but maybe I'll be wrong and I'll shoot myself in the foot. We spent 2 episodes. Like, you can't make full opinion on everybody just yet. Like, not everybody's going to be as bold and strong from the jump as Liz and Alicia. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's just what I'm feeling for now. Very excited for this season. I'm excited to see Ashley navigate this new reality landscape. I mean, she comes from the Bachelorette world and like Bachelor Nation seems to love her. I'm hearing that she's like a legend in the Bachelor world. So I'm excited to watch her navigate a new landscape of reality TV. I think that's going to be really interesting. And I'm excited to watch like this passion project of her husband's and see like how they navigate it. And like, it's cute that he has like a coffee shop that he loves so much, but like, she's right. Like, you've got to come home and like stop working 100 hours a week. Like, you got to be present as a husband, as a dad, but like, it is really sweet that he had such a big passion project. And I'm curious to see how he navigates it as the season goes on. I'm so excited for this season. I cannot wait. If you're not watching, add it to your rotation. I feel like it's the perfect Sunday night show. I am so excited. This month is going to be fucking crazy. We have Housewives of Rhode Island. We have Euphoria. We have Hacks. We have just so much coming out. I'm forgetting shows. There's other things that are on my list and I'm completely forgetting right now. There's just so much happening and I'm so excited. I feel like I was in like kind of like a TV rut. All I really was watching was Drag Race and I was like, all right, like, this is great. I love Drag Race. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, I need some other shows in my repertoire. And I'm getting them this month. I'm like, my cup has overflown, but I'm not mad about it. You know what? That's what we're here for. So more Real Housewives of Rhode Island next week. And then of course, in 2 weeks, we will do the Drag Race finale and see who the winner of RuPaul Drag Race season 18 is. But with all of that being said, we have made it to our final segment of the week, our yes and our mess. We end every single episode with something I am loving, my mess, and my yes, and something I am not loving, my mess. And we always start things on a high note. And my yes this week is the fact that Kanye West was banned from entering the UK, forcing Wireless Festival to cancel the entire show. Now, this is layered because on one hand, why the fuck are we booking Kanye West to perform anywhere in the year 2026? He just did a few shows in LA. Why were so many people there? Why was it sold out? Why were so many people so proud to be there? Why are we supporting Kanye West in 2026? Like, why are you proud to support that man? Then Wireless Fest announces that he's headlining it 3 days in a row. And all of the sponsors start pulling out, which I love. It was like Pepsi, a bunch of others, and I'm blanking, of course. But all the sponsors are pulling out and they're like, nope, we're not sponsoring this festival if Kanye is associated. And that is what I want to see. I want to see brands and festivals, and I want to see these people standing 10 toes down and being like, fuck this. I'm not supporting something that Kanye West is performing at because he's not a sane person. Like, he should not be headlining anything. And the fact that Kanye West even got as far as headlining a festival, it just makes me happy to watch it like completely get canceled. And now like the entire show's not happening. Cause like, yeah, that's what you get. You made your bed, sleep in it. Why are we booking Kanye West in 2026? What the fuck are we thinking? Let's be serious for 1 minute. And also, like, why are you going to see Kanye West in the year 2026? Let's open that conversation up because like, you can admit that he's made great music back in the day, but like his behavior over the last, I would say like 10 or plus years has been so inexcusable. Do you have any shame? Like, are you not ashamed to be supporting Kanye West in the year 2026? You're just like proud to be going to his shows and proud to be streaming his music. And like, are we living in the same timeline? Like, be dead ass with me. Like, are we seriously living in the same timeline? You can admit that he's had great music. I get that. He had his heyday. He did what he needed to do. But you do not need to be supporting him in 2026. So the fact that they canceled the entire festival because all of these brands pulled out is absolutely the best news I have heard all week long. Moving over to my mess for the week, this broke my heart. And of course, I understand why this has to happen, but like, the video of Dan Levy back in the town they filmed Schitt's Creek at, and they asked if there would ever be a sequel or a reunion or a revival. And he said there can't be one now. And he's alluding to the fact that Catherine O'Hara is no longer with us, and he starts crying. And like, this is just upsetting for so many levels. Like, the fact that there was ever a possibility of a Schitt's Creek reunion and now there won't be breaks my heart. But the fact that the reason there won't be is because Catherine O'Hara is no longer with us breaks my heart 3 times over. Like, it's still one of those losses that like actually like I forget about. And then I like see her on TikTok or see like a video and I'm like, oh, Catherine O'Hara's dead. You know, like it's one of those, it's like a shocking thing. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but I have literally, no, I don't think you can on my camera, but I literally have like the Schitt's Creek book on my shelf behind me every day every episode when I record. It's Dan Levy and Eugene Levy's book. Like, Schitt's Creek is a huge part of like my apartment decor. I have like a wooden spoon with Catherine O'Hara on it saying "Fold in the cheese." Like, I love that show so much. I would say it's my favorite show of all time, honestly. And like, it's so heartbreaking. And I mean, of course, there are much bigger messes that I could have had this week. Like the fact that Trump was ready to bomb Iran tonight and like our country is just a fucking disaster. But I figured let's not get political because I want to, you know, escape with you guys for this hour plus that I've recorded and yap into a microphone solo in my living room. But yes, it is very heartbreaking that obviously Catherine Howard's no longer with us and now we will never get a Schitt's Creek revival or reunion. And it was so heartbreaking to watch. I was like, this is so sad. Also, can we talk about how good Dan Levy looks lately? Like, I can only hope that I'm as cool as he is when I'm in my 40s. Like, that is what I aspire to be. I need to lock in now so I can reach Dan Levy coolness by my 40s. Like, his style, he's got this just like something about him. I always have admired him for like his work and everything. And like, I've always had a little bit of a crush on him, but like the crush has grown. The crush has definitely grown. And I also am just like, I want to dress like you and be like you when I'm older. So now I'm 31. I've got like 9 years before I'm in my 40s. So got some time to work on it. But like, that's the goal for 40. If you're wondering what Too Pop to Handle will look like in 10 or so years, I hope I look like 2026 Dan Levy on the podcast then. So we'll see if I achieve that goal and like what the show looks like in 10 years. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Too Pop to Handle. If you liked what you heard and you're listening to us as a podcast, please go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for being one of my 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you hit like. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit subscribe so we can continue to grow to 2,000 and then on and on and on from there. If you would like some extra moments of the week that were Too Pop to Handle in between podcast episodes, you can always go to our Substack. I will have it linked down below, or it is just twopoptohandle.substack.com. And I send out extra moments of the week that were Too Pop to Handle every single weekend in my weekly newsletter popping in, as well as some other just fun like pop culture tidbits. I just wrote a really fun piece of 5 questions I need answered in Devil Wears Prada 2. So if you're interested, you can go check that out. It will be linked down below. And if all of that is not enough, you can always follow us on social, either at Too Pop to Handle or on my personals at Andrew Nucatola, because I just never shut the fuck up. And with that, I will catch you guys next week. Bye.